God's blessings on everyone that's going to be tuning in for this message. May the Spirit of God open up your ears to hear what He is saying by His Spirit in this hour. May He give you a heart to perceive and to understand His truth for your life. May He give you eyes to see things for what they are in Jesus' name. I am Sister Liberty, and I'm back here once again preaching the everlasting gospel of Jesus Christ. We need grace from the throne room of God. You know, the more you continue to plow through, the easier things are going to get. It's the moment that you slow down. The devil is trying to get many of us to forfeit our inheritance. He's trying to get us to believe that things are just too hard. Things are not accomplishable. It can't be done. And if it can, it can't be done through me. He's trying to rob us of our inheritance. He's trying to get us to look to the left and the right. He's trying to get us to see things from the wrong perspective and the wrong view. He's trying to get us to believe that it really is about us when really it's not about us. He comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. You need to know that the devil is a liar and the father of it. You are responsible for making the devil out of the liar that he is by pressing forward, by submitting yourself unto God. James is going to say that. Submit yourself, therefore, to God. Resist the devil and he will flee. So I'm starting off with all of this because maybe you don't have the sensitivity to sense, to discern the seasons that we're in, the times that we're in, right? What's happening in the body, what's happening with your brothers and sisters. Maybe you're too focused on what you have going on and what's happening now. Maybe you're too focused on the moment and so you can't see anything else but what's happening here. But we are in a war, a spiritual war, and there are heightened times throughout the years and even in different seasons where there's more spiritual warfare. You can feel the aggressiveness of the war. You can feel the violence. You can feel just the strength of what's happening. What am I saying? I'm talking about the blows. I'm talking about the attacks. I'm talking about just different things that could be happening in the Bible and that are happening in the Bible. People wanting to go back to the world, wanting to leave church, wanting to leave God because things are getting hard, because things aren't what they thought it was going to be. And you, as the man of God that you are, the woman of God that you are, you have to choose, because it's a decision to stay in the race. It's a decision to keep going. It's a decision to plow through. You need to respect the fact that the enemy is working and he is doing a very good job. Make no mistake about that. We're not underestimating the enemy, the devil, at all. He is good at what he does, and he's doing it in the earth more today than he did however many years ago. Why? Because of the increase of sin, because of the curse of sin, because Bible prophecy is unfolding, and what God has said in his word has to come to pass. The enemy also has a short time. His time is short, so he has to work harder and faster. You got to know what's happening in your world. You have to know what hour it is, what time it is. If you don't know what hour and what time it is, then you are going to be caught off guard. You are going to be caught up in his path. Paul, or Peter, talks about him being like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. He says that in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, be sober and vigilant. This is not the time to be off your post. This is not the time to be off your guard, to be out of position. This is not the time to waddle in your pity party, your pity hold, waddle in the situation, stay stuck in the moment. I'm letting you know now, the devil is after those in the body. He already have the people that are out in the world. So he doesn't have to do much to keep them in the world. He doesn't have to work hard to keep the people in bondage. He already understands how they work. The devil has studied us since we were young. Some of us probably in the womb. I don't even know. And so I'm bringing it up because he already knows your ways. He knows what you like. He knows what gets you to move. He knows what gets you to make these kinds of decisions. It's the ones in the body that's a threat. Those that submit unto their God. Those who know their God. He's afraid of a people. He's afraid of a person who knows their God. Those who know their God, I believe it's Daniel who says that. Those who know their God shall be strong and do exploits. You have to know your God. If you're not fully persuaded, if you're not fully convinced, how can you convince anybody else? How can you persuade the people around you if you don't even believe it? And you know what's interesting? The devil already knows those of us who really believe and who doesn't. The devil already knows those of us who's playing church and who's not. The devil knows who's in secret sin and who's being for real. He already knows. So if we think we're fooling anyone, we're not. We're not fooling God. We're not fooling the holy angels. We're not fooling the fallen angels. We're not fooling the devil. You may be able to lie to the people at church, but you can't lie to God. You can't lie to the witches that know things about you. So we don't want to undermine the enemy, right? We don't want to undermine his works. If we just do what is right, James is going to say, submit yourself unto God. Resist the devil and he will flee. If the zeal of God's house isn't eating you up, right? If you don't desire holiness, if you don't desire righteousness, if you don't desire the heart of God, then you can't have a love for the things of God and what God wants. Having a heart for God keeps me open. Having a heart for God keeps my heart clean. Having the heart of God is going to position me to remain sober. Why is it important that I remain sober? Because if I'm not sober, then I'm drunken. If I'm not aware of the times and the seasons, then I can miss my move. I can miss when the gears are shifting. I can miss when it's time to realign over here. I can miss when God has moved over here if I am not sober. He says, be sober, be vigilant. You need vision. You need insight and foresight. You need clarity to have the right vision to see when you need to shift in your prayer life, right? Maybe it's time to not be praying about these things and it's time to intercede for other people or to focus on other matters, right? I need the vigilance to know things by the Spirit of God. God can tell you what you need to know. He's going to reveal his secrets to his servants, the prophet. God is not revealing himself to every and anyone. He's revealing himself to his sons. He's telling them things that he's not telling everyone. God is not telling everyone the same thing. Peter is going to say you have to be sober, meaning you have to be fully conscious of who you are, where you are, what you are, whose you are. You got to be fully conscious. That would mean I would have to live in the Spirit to know the things of the Spirit. He that is spiritual understands all things, but he that is, I think it says natural or carnal, right? Paraphrasing, understands the things of the natural. You're not going to understand the things of God. You're not going to be sensitive to what's happening in the spirit realm. There are things happening in the spirit realm. You need to know this attack is bigger than you. It's against the church. In case you didn't know, in case you haven't noticed, it's against the church. The church is God's glory in the earth. The church is a standard. The church is a wonder and a sign in the earth. The church is an embassy in the earth. The enemy is after the people of God. They look like him. They act like him. They carry out his assignments. They're fulfilling purpose in the earth, and they're making trouble for the camp of the enemy. So he's after the people of God. If he can discourage you, if he can cause you to see things in a perverse way, the wrong light, right? If he can cause you and make you feel like you're inadequate and you're not sufficient, you're not enough, you're not good enough, and you'll never be, right? All you keep doing is failing. See, you can't even live right for God. You're just a failure. If he can get us to believe these lies, then he is doing his job. He's doing his job. This is why Peter is going to say, no, you got to be sober and vigilant. If I'm in a, okay, now don't get at me, right? If I mess this up, I think it's a herd of zebras, group of zebras. I don't even know at this point. I don't know if it's a group or a herd of zebras, a pack of zebras, I think. Yeah, right? Pack of zebras. If you are a part of, no, that doesn't sound right. That don't sound right. If you are a part of, let's just say group right now, and then we'll figure the rest out later. Let's say you are a part of the group of zebras, right? This is your family, right? This is your group, and there are lions coming. Peter is going to say, right, this is why you need to be sober and vigilant, because your adversary, the person that's against you, the person that wants to devour you, he's not for you. He does not have your best interest at heart. I don't know what you think, but the devil is not for you. He's not your friend. He doesn't have your back. He's not trying to help you become a better you. He's not trying to help you get across to the other side. He is your adversary. He is your opponent. He is your enemy. And he says your adversary, the devil, is as a roaring lion. Let's stop right there. If I'm a part of the group, I keep saying pack because it makes sense. I don't know, that might be right. If I'm a part of the zebra pack group and there are lions, right? Someone was sensitive enough to know that a lion is lurking nearby. A lion is roaming nearby, right? He's roaming the land, seeking a vulnerable one, seeking a weak one. That's why it's very dangerous to be on the outer skirts. This is why it's very dangerous to try and walk this journey, walk this path alone. Being in the body of Christ, being a saved, born again believer, born again Christian is not a one-man show. It's not something that you can do by yourself. You were not designed to do it by yourself. God did not build this for you to do it alone. Solomon is going to say, how can one be warm alone? Right? He's going to say that if you fall, you're going to need somebody to help you up. The lion is going to look for the weakest person. He's going to look for the one who's closer to the outer skirts. So if you're part of the pack, and again, I apologize if it's not pack and it's group or herd. If you are a part of these individuals, right? And if one gets up and starts to take off, you're supposed to shift. You're supposed to get up too and ask questions later, right? You know that. Those of us that are darker skin color, we know that. You know, I've been in places, been at events where if I saw one person run, I ran too, and I asked questions later. I didn't try to stay behind and try to figure out, why is everybody running? It's us darker colored people. You know, you saw one person running, you ran too. Wait a minute, why are we running? Why are we running? You knew how to get up and move accordingly. Then you ask questions afterwards. After we got to a safe destination, man, why were we running? Why were you running? Is everything okay? Is somebody shooting? Right? So when one zebra gets up, you have to move too. Right? If you see your zebra friends, family members running, you better run too. Right? Because there's a lion roaming. There's a lion seeking whom he may devour. This is the devil. This is how he works. And guess what? The lion is going to catch the weakest one. If everybody else is running to the right and that one zebra or two zebras wants to go to the left, that's going to be easier target. That's easier prey for the lion. He's going to scope. He's going to pick up scent of fear, the weak links, right? And he's going to go after that one and get the ones that are off to themselves and devour them. Peter is saying, because your adversary, the devil, is as a roaring lion walking about. He's walking, he's lurking. He's scanning the premises. He's scanning the grounds. He already knows those who are really trying and those who aren't. Those who are trying to be serious and those who are just playing games. He already knows. So when he shows up seeking, because he only leaves for a season, okay? He only leaves for a season. Walking about seeking whom he may devour. He's trying to devour some people. Are you going to just sit there and let him? Because of offense? Because you feel as though you can do this on your own. You were not designed to do this on your own. It's a scary thing to be out there by yourself. Because when you do fall, when you do come short, you won't have anyone else to hold you accountable. You won't have anyone else to lift you up. You won't have anyone there to encourage you and to tell you that you can keep going and to tell you that we can do this and to tell you that we're not too far from the finish line. You won't have anyone there. Paul says this is one body made up of many members. He says every joint supply. The hand, just like the natural body. You know, there are parts of your body that you may not even know that's there. Right? I'm sure there are parts of my body that we don't even know that's there, or we can't even say. I can't even say the name of this body part, but it's there and I need it. It's important. Every part. My fingernails, my fingerprint, my eyelashes, my eyebrow hair, right? My appendix, right? My kidneys, my liver, my spleen, things that the doctors may be telling you, you can live without this. No, if God put it there, then it's obviously for a reason. That means I do need it. They may not know what it's for, and that may be something that God has left out of man's mind. Because man is so simple-minded. They don't need to know what this is for. No, let them think that there's no purpose for this. Let them think that there's no use for this, right? If God put it in the body, then it's needed. If God put it in the body, then it's to benefit the body. If God put you in the body, if God called you out of the world, if he brought you into a place where his spirit is active there, he's moving there, right? If he called you to be a part of a work, a church where spirit is there, then you have purpose. You have a job to fulfill. You have a role. You have responsibilities and obligations to fulfill. Don't think that your part in the body is insignificant. Excuse me. Don't think that your role in the body is inadequate and less than and of no use and isn't important. Whether you are a doorkeeper, David is going to say, I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house of the Lord. I'd rather be a doorkeeper. I'd rather be the person that keeps the door open, stands at the door and greet people while they're coming in. He's saying, as long as I get to be near to the king, it doesn't matter what role I play. I can be holding the door. As long as God is here, I'm happy. If he's happy, I'm happy. I'm simply happy with holding the door. I'm simply happy with cleaning down the platform and the pew and wiping down the chairs that the ministers sit on, or vacuuming the carpet, wiping the floor, cleaning the bathrooms, right? Because somebody has to do it. I'm simply happy with teaching the toddlers or watching them, or, helping to take care of them, watching the kids. I'm simply happy with taking out the trash in the front, right? I'm simply happy with changing out the trash where the pastor stands at the platform and preaches from. Changing that up, getting his Gatorade, right? Every drink supply. I'm simply happy with being an intercessor. I'm simply happy with being a prayer minister. I'm simply happy with being a worship leader. I'm simply happy with being a prophet or a prophetess or an interpreter. I'm simply happy. I'm simply happy. But if I undermine the anointing on my life, the role that God has called me to, then I'm not going to appreciate it. And if I don't appreciate it, I'm not going to operate in it the way that I need. I'm going to do the bare minimum, and that might just be me just showing up. I'm not going to be joyous when it's time for me to do my role. I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to smile, because I'm really just doing the bare minimum. It's just a job at this point. I've not fully embraced that this is who God called me to be. This is what God has given me to be. But if I don't see it that way, what if I think that person's role and that person's position is better than mine? What if I despise mine, but I love that person's role? But you don't have the capacity to have that person's role. God did not build you. God did not equip you to be what that person is. He made you because that's what he wants you to be. He made you because that's what he delights in. He made you because that's what he's called you to be, to become, to operate in. If he wanted you to have that person's role, he would have built you for it. He would have given you the gift. He would have given you the voice. He would have given you the wisdom. He would have given you the sensitivity. He would have given you the insight. But he did not. He gave you what's for you. And you have to embrace that. You have to love that, not in a prideful sense, but being confident in being just that doorkeeper, being confident in being on a cleaning committee, being confident in being in hospitality, being confident in being the person who puts down chairs or pick up chairs or wipe down the podium, wiping down the pews, freshening up the pews. That may be your role in the body. Being a prayer minister, man, I don't like praying for people. I want to be this person. If God anointed you and appointed you for the role, then that's what you have to be, right? Everybody may not be called to get the mic. You may want to be the person who tells other people what to do, and that may not be where God is calling you, right? You may feel as though, well, when am I going to start my ministry, right? You need to know that there are many people going ahead of God, and you have to make sure you're not one of them. Not going ahead of God, not going before God, not starting your ministry before the time. That's very dangerous to want to move ahead of God, to want to rush, because there's a reason why God has us to wait on our ministry. Development purposes, growth purposes, love purposes. There's a measure of love you're going to need to operate in this role. And you may be called to that, but it may not be your season and your time. Are you willing to wait on God? Are you willing to wait for God? Because if he gives you that role, if he gives you that position too soon, too early, prematurely, if you step in that role ahead of God just because, you don't know how many people you're going to affect. You don't know how many souls you're going to cause to turn away. That's scary. When we're talking about dealing with souls, that's scary. These are people's lives that are on the line, and we don't want to play with people either being in heaven or hell. That ministry is very serious, and I don't think we really understand how serious it is, because all we see is the glam part about it. We see glam, we see attention, we see being seen, we see praise, right? And you may want that because you're seeking affirmation, but your heart is in the wrong places. God sees that. He sees that. And if you get the role too soon and you fall, it will be nobody's fault but yours. You will have no one to blame but yourself, right? There was a reason why God had you to wait, so that he can develop the character, so that when you are in the role, you are flourishing. So that when you are in the role, you are blessed. So that when you are in the role, your influence is blessing others. Your influence is causing people to come in and draw near to God. Your influence is causing people to repent. Your influence is motivating people to stay focused. Your influence is encouraging people. It's an encouragement. When we go ahead of God, then there will be room to fall, because there will be a lack of development, a lack of character, right? Your character has to match your anointing. You can't be so anointed, but you lack love. You can't be so anointed, but you lack patience. You can't be so anointed, but you lack joy. You're always angry. You never smile, but you're a pastor, right? You don't do people, but you're a pastor. There are pastors like that who don't do people. What do I mean by that? Because you may say, well, what does that mean? You know, I have a sister who came from another church, and she used to tell me that this pastor did not do people. And I said, what do you mean by that? She said, once he got done preaching his sermon, he went through the back and went out through another door outside and got in his car and left. He was not a people person. He really didn't feel the need to have to greet people and see how the people in his congregation was doing. He was just not a people person. He like, I'm here to preach to you. Don't expect anything more from me. Once I'm done preaching, I'm going to go out this door and out through another door and into my car. Don't bother me. Don't bombard me. Don't try to chase me down and flag me down because I won't be available. And I couldn't understand. After hearing that for the first time, I've never heard anything like that because my pastor doesn't do that. He makes himself available. But I was very blown away. Like, how is this person a pastor? You know, pastors, one of the roles of a pastor is to serve. To serve the people, to care for the sheep, to attend to the sheep, to make sure the sheep has everything that they need, to make sure that the sheep are protected, right, and covered. A part of that looks like communicating and engaging the sheep, right? Affirming the sheep, loving on the sheep. So for a pastor to be a pastor and not do people, that was big. But we need to understand this is what's happening in the body, right? Hearing things like that should bother you as a believer. Seeing the condition and the state of the house of God, it should bother you. Things that you may see on social media that people are doing in the house of God, things that people are doing in the churches, it should bother you. If it's funny to you, if it's entertaining to you, if it doesn't bother you, if you say, man, I want to go to a church like that, that's a problem. If holiness doesn't ring in your ear, right? If the zeal of his house, if it doesn't eat you up on the inside, if it doesn't grieve your spirit, something is wrong. Something is off, right? If you're not becoming more violent in your pursuit for Jesus, if you're not becoming more violent with subduing the person that you see in the mirror, what are you doing? Because we're in war right now. And Jesus is going to say the kingdom of heaven suffers violence. There's violence. There's spiritual warfare, aggressive warfare happening in the heavenlies that you and I can't see. But it's there and it's happening. What are you doing about the attacks against the body? What are you doing at the fact that this brother or sister is struggling? What are you doing with the fact that the devil is devouring this one? What are you doing? Do you care? Do you care that people are falling off? Do you care that people are struggling with whether or not they want to be in the house of God? Do you care that this person still has flaws and weakness and areas of sin that they can't overcome? Do you care? Do you care? Or is it all about you? Do you care? Right? Things that happen in the body should bother us. It should push us into prayer, to pray, not to go and gossip, right? Not to be a busybody and being nosy in other people's matters, but to pray for the person. If you see that over there, you got to know how to take that into prayer. If you hear that over there, you have to know how to take that into prayer. You should not be okay with the devil beating your brothers and your sisters up, slanging them and, discouraging them, causing them to fall into states of depression, causing them to fall into spiritual suicide. You should care. There's times where we have to throw care to the wind, that other kind of care. But then there's a care that you need to care enough whether or not people are making it, whether or not people are staying in the body. You need to care for whether or not people are overcoming. When you hear the whole throw care in the trash, that's you not caring about the things that you shouldn't be caring about. But then there are other times where you need care to care whether or not this person is dying or living. Do you care? Or is it just about you? Do you care about the state of your Father's house? Right? The forms of entertainment, the fact that people are falling away from the faith. People are struggling in their faith. People are struggling in their walk. This person is struggling whether or not to believe anymore. Do you care? Or is it just, well, I guess that's them? It's scary when you started with people and people just begin to fall away. That can be discouraging. That can make it seem as though, well, is it going to be me next? And you have to hold on. You have to hold on to Jesus' garments with everything that you got. You have to hold on to the tree with everything that you got. If people do leave, you have to decide to keep going. You have to decide to press even more. You have to decide to get more violent with this person. Right? Don't let you lie to you. Don't let the devil lie to you. Don't let people lie to you and tell you you can do it by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. You were not designed to do it by yourself. God did not make it for us to do it by ourselves. He made it so that we can have each other. One can chase 1,000 and two can put 10,000 to flight. Two is better than one. Jesus made that clear. He made that known when he sent his disciples out 2 by 2. He made that known. You need your brother and your sister, and they need you. People are doors. People are keys. There are things that God is going to put in individuals that you are going to need access to. God doesn't give everybody everything because of pride. He has to hide pride from man. And he also doesn't want us to think that we don't need people. No, because I have it all. You see, I have everything that you have. I don't need you. God is so wise that he knows the heart of man. He knew that if I give everybody everything, the world would be worse than what it is. Kids would need their parents. Babies would need their parents because they would be able to feed themselves and clothe themselves and shelter themselves, and it would just be a jacked up world. Nobody would be able to, nobody would get help from anyone, right? Because everybody will be independent and be able to do it on their own. But God is so wise, he knows. He wants us to understand that you are going to need the person next to you. You are going to need what's on the inside of this person. You are going to need access to what I've put in this person. So we can't despise the anointing on other people. We can't despise what God is doing in people, right? The work, the process, whether they have flaws or not, right? I have to respect what God is doing. And so we need grace. We need the ears to hear what God is saying. You know, we are living in dark times. Things are only going to get worse. There's going to come a great falling away. God is going to give people over to a strong delusion. And you want to make sure that you're not amongst those. You're not amongst those that are going to draw back. You're not amongst those that are going to be given over to that strong delusion. You want to make sure that you're found in the presence of the Lord. You want to make sure that you're found occupying, working, being busy, staying sober, staying vigilant, like Peter is saying. It's scary when you have to witness the enemy taking people out, knowing the truth. It should bother you that the enemy lies to people. It should bother you that the enemy deceives people. He's a deceiver. Again, he's not for you. He doesn't have your best interest at heart. Don't be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man sows, he is going to reap. Don't be deceived. Don't let anybody lie to you. We all have to stand before God one day alone, right? So you may hear this and say, but I thought you said we need people, but we're going to be standing before God alone. Yes. When you stand before God, it would just be you and God. But on the way there, you need to know that you need people. People have to help you get to God. People have to help you get to God. Just like those 4 friends had to help him. They had to help their sick friend who had, I think, the palsies get to Jesus. People have to help you get there. That woman who had to go to Jesus and be called a dog, she wasn't going for herself. She was going on behalf of her daughter, right? The centurion who had a sick servant, he went to Jesus on behalf of his servant. He said, no, I am a man of authority. He says, you don't have to come out under my roof. I'm not worthy that you should come under my roof. Just speak a word. He was there on behalf of his servant, right? The man who I think one gospel says he sent servants to tell Jesus to come to his house and heal his daughter who was dead, but she was really asleep, right? Other people had to go on their behalf. That's what I'm saying. Other people had to go on their behalf. You're going to need people to get to Jesus. You're going to need people to get to where you have to get. People are doors. People are access points for you to get to where you need to get. So we need people in the body. We are one body with many joints, many members. Every joint supplies and have different roles, just like your hands have a different job than your head, than your ears, than your lips, than your nose, than your feet, than your knees, than your calves, then your elbows, then your abdomen, then your chest, then your heart. Different roles, different things, different responsibilities. Your fingernails, your nail bed. Each and every part of you has a different role, and each part is significant. You are significant. Hold on to that. Don't let the devil discourage you out of the body. Don't let people offend you out of the body. Don't let what other people are doing and not doing cause you to leave the body. You got to finish. You got to finish. Whether people are doing what they're supposed to do, I still have to finish. I can't stand before God and me leaving, my reason for leaving be because of what this person did and what this person said and didn't say. No. If God has called me into this work, I have to be here until he tells me otherwise, and I have to fight my way through and finish. And so be encouraged in Jesus' name.